It could be a subdivision in any wintry American city. But this is Moscow. Veshki is a high-class gated community in the making.
Yeah, yesterday we poured lots of concrete, right?
Mark Groisman and his foreign partners are investing more than $100 million to build this North American suburb in Moscow.
There was one point that was a concern that is going to create a narrow corridor.
Groisman spent several years in the Canadian construction business and brought the know-how back to Russia. Most entrepreneurs thought they were crazy, but during the past 2 years, their bet looked good. More than 100 homes have been sold so far. But with the Russian economic crash, it's all grinded to an instantaneous halt.
We have 70 homes.
70 homes under construction right now.
Groisman is finishing those homes that are paid for and putting the rest of the project on hold. That means these workers will probably join the ranks of the growing Russian unemployed.
There are going to be less jobs in the Russian economy than it was 6 months ago. Especially in real estate, there is a lot of companies who is closing down their project, freezing their project. Some of the companies are completely closing down and letting everybody go.
While Americans are suffering from tough times, the impact of the credit crunch on Russia could be catastrophic. Russia lives off oil. Gazprom is the key state oil producer. The price crashed from over $140 a barrel to under $40. Russian stocks nosedived almost 80%. The ruble has plunged almost 50%.
You have to spend more ruble to buy the same piece of bread. And when people, especially when people losing jobs, they cannot spend more money, which is gonna create slowdown in other economies.
The economic crisis has hit Mark Groisman in unanticipated ways. His bank suddenly froze millions of dollars in the company account, used for ongoing construction expenses. The bank was on the verge of collapse. Only after several agonizing weeks was Groisman able to extract the money. Valery Babkin bought into Mark's dream. He's invited him for a Sunday lunch. Valery is a successful businessman. He loves to show his personal collection of Dutch masters, paintings valued in the tens of millions of dollars.
When you compare the haves and have-nots, are they both hurt from the financial crisis, or are just the weak suffering?
If you're gonna measure how much a rich guy lost in the last, let's say, 6 months, I believe percentage-wise, the loss of their wealth was quite substantial. But it won't necessarily will affect his everyday living. Although the poor guy who have very little, and he probably in a dollar sense didn't lose very much because he didn't have very much. But whatever he lost will affect his everyday living.
The crisis has certainly affected life in the vast majority of Russian towns outside of Moscow. Kolchugino, for example, seems to live in a time warp. Lenin still looks out over the horizon. The economic crisis has shut down the town's metalworks factory. Over 11,000 workers are without jobs. Now Kolchugino's residents turn to the local market to hawk a bit of food and second-hand goods in order to earn a few rubles. They blame the government.
Nobody cares. What do you think? Our government doesn't know about the closure? The owners couldn't just take everything, put it on trucks, and take it out. They probably received an order from above.
President Medvedev and Prime Minister Putin have been popular because of the oil-based prosperity. With that prosperity gone and dissatisfaction growing, they could face political trouble.
The big mistake, according to many economic analysts, is the fact that the Russian government directed its massive oil revenues towards consumerism, towards buying a better life, but did not direct the funds towards investing into creating many more jobs within the country.
And since oil is the only industry that thrives in Russia, workers will find it hard to find jobs elsewhere.
How does not investing create damage in this case?
If they would have taken that revenue and reinvest in other sectors of economy, other sectors of economy would also contribute to the wealth of the government budget, to the wealth of the people. But it doesn't exist, and when the oil money of the source of the oil money dries out, then everybody's suffering.
The big question is how much suffering and at what political and social cost. For Worldfocus, this is Martin Himmel in Moscow.